Hi guys, welcome back to The Money Ladder, a series of conversations where I sit down with some good friends of mine who are all at the top of their game. But I want to find out about their experience of climbing the ladder to success. And today, I have a very, very special guest with me. I'm talking international. I've got a comedian. He's an actor, a writer, a producer, and an artist. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome the one and only, the name you can trust, Michael Dapaah. Come on. Hey. How are you, bro?
That's a nice intro.
Was that a good one?
Yeah, no, that's an amazing intro.
The name you can trust.
The name you can trust.
The name that's a must.
And the name that's a must. No one's ever used that before.
Listen, good to see you, man.
Good to see you too. You're looking well, bro.
So are you, man.
Clean.
So are you. See how he's blending with the brown?
Yeah,
like different shades of brown.
I appreciate it, you know what I'm saying?
We're kind of matching though, like,
yeah,
you know what I mean?
You gotta give him some chocolate.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It's that Ghanaian chocolate.
They like the chocolate, you know what I'm
saying? Well, look, I mean, I think for me today, I just really want to kind of get your thoughts and feelings on, several things that I touch on in my book, The Money Ladder, right? About success.
Congratulations on that.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I mean, I know I told you about this a while back.
Yes.
And, I've been busy working away in the background to make it come to life. And so I'm really happy and proud that you're part of this journey.
Well, I'm proud that it's actually come to life. Because, sometimes that... naturally people speak about stuff, but bringing it to fruition, that's the most difficult bit.
100%.
So, to write a book, bro,
listen,
that's a different kind of challenge, but
No, listen, I appreciate that. I mean, look, you're no stranger to writing. I mean, you've been about this life, right? And we're going to get into a bit of that, but I guess to start the conversation off, Reeve, I just want to really just touch on a bit about the upbringing. Because, you're an international man, generally, born in the UK, moved to Ghana, moved to South Africa, back to the UK. How do you think that whole transition really impacted your upbringing?
I think the transition, it just opened up my eyes. Right. I think I saw different things because obviously growing up, when just moving in, different cities and different countries, you got to see you got to really experience the have and the have-nots. Right. Really get to see people that grew up having some levels of affluence that, I wasn't exposed to that much. But, because I come from a very, humble background. Sure. So, I think that it helped me for my palate to be open, I would say. You get what I'm saying? But, I'm very grateful for it. Sure. And I think that I definitely, want my kids to be able to have the opportunity to stay in different places because I think it does open you up a little bit more. Yeah, no, because that's definitely what it done for me. Opened me up a little bit more. Right. And it's great to always go back to your roots. Right. It's obviously a blessing to, live in the UK as well. It's a blessing to be anywhere, really. Sure. Do you get me? But, where you're able to, have dual citizenship. Right. It's great to be able to go back home, know the language, know what's going on there. And South Africa is an amazing place too.
I've never been. I need to go.
You need to go there, bro. It's crazy. Amazing people, amazing place. And to be able to spend time there as well was amazing. And then coming back to the UK, it's I came back almost as a stranger. Yeah, really. But it's good though, you know what I'm saying? I wouldn't change any part of that. Right. Nah, none. Right. Yeah.
Okay. And so I guess looking at that and how it, sort of impacted or influenced you, was there any particular things you learnt in those different places that shaped who you became as a person? You talked about seeing, the different levels of people who had affluence and who didn't and all of that. Yeah. Were there any particular things that, as you started to become a man, that it shaped you in terms of who you are now?
You know what, one of my managers, he always says I'm almost like a hoarder. Okay. In some cases.
Tell me more. What does that mean?
Because you see, when you grow up to a certain extent not having. When you do have, you end up keeping certain things that you don't need. Okay. Do you get what I'm saying? So certain times it will just be you still got that and you still got this. I'm just yeah, bro. You know what I'm saying? Of course. I'm not gonna throw it away. Because I remember the time when it wasn't like that for me. You get me? So I think that's one of the most important things. So I really value the small things, bro. Sure. Honestly, I think like every time I'm even like when I'm leaving my house, I was just like, right, like, you know, thank God for this house, you know, like, you get me, like, I really value like just the little things and, you know, good people,
Sure.
you know, and just being able to have the freedom.
Yeah.
I think that's the most important thing because, you know, you see a lot of people struggling or really having to really graft to make their buck. You feel me? And so for me, like, you know, understanding that, I just knew that, you know what, once you get into a certain position, and you know, we're all on a journey, you know, striving for different levels, but it's just like, you know, that hard work ethic and stuff that, you know, you learn from back home just because you see, you know, the hustle and that, people waking up mad early, that stayed with me. But I didn't kick in until I really started like, you know, wanting to push myself.
Right.
You know?
Okay.
Yeah.
But I mean that's a solid foundation. And just sort of bringing this back to sort of money and finance, what do you remember being told about money when you were growing up? Was it very much a thing of scarcity and actually, you know, money doesn't grow on trees, or what was that experience?
Yeah, spot on though. You got it spot on. It's
Yeah.
scarcity. Money doesn't grow on trees. Money's hard to come by.
Right.
You know, I remember we used to have like one tuna can and we used to split it between like 5 of us. I remember one time me and my cousin Tracy, we ate one tuna can in the house when we was in when I used to live in the council flat.
Right.
And my mum came back and she was fuming.
Wow.
And she was just like, do you know that this can feed everyone in the house? Wow. And then, you know? So like, you know, I always like I grew up knowing how valuable money is.
Sure.
But then I also grew up like, you know, my folks weren't my folks were folks that always made sure we had what we needed.
Sure.
But they weren't like the folks that were just gonna just, you
Sure.
know,
Yeah,
just
of course.
like, you know, you just had what you needed, you know, and you know, that's what I'm grateful for. But for money, like, we was never taught how to like look after money, how to grow money, how to like, not even how to save, really. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like, oh, there's this formula. If you earn 100, put away 10. I think the one thing that I learned just from being in the church early on was just about tithing. You know, giving 10%, you know, back to God. But then apart from that, bro, like, man, like we had no financial education.
None.
About nah. That's all like independent learning.
Right.
As you grow. Yeah.
So what do you think that did for you then, as you know your career progressed, you matured, and then you came into money? Because for a lot of people, then the first thought is fear and what do I do with this?
That's a good question. I think like because of how I grown up, I learned not to be frivolous.
Right.
You know, that was the primary thing, not to be frivolous.
Okay.
So I was always very careful with how I spent money.
Okay.
When I was blessed to get into money, like, you know, how I spent it was very important.
Right.
But then, you know what, like, foundationally, I needed to make sure that, like, you know, there's certain things, especially with family and stuff, you gotta make sure that they're straight.
Of course.
You know, primarily, I think that was a priority for me, and I always needed to make sure that, you know, you put away some rainy day money just in case anything ever does go wrong.
Right.
The family does need it, or this and this, that. And it's funny because those situations did come up.
Right.
And they have come up.
Okay.
And if I wasn't like blessed enough to be able to do that, bro, it would have been peak.
And was there no temptation then? Because I guess, you know, there's two ways these things often go. You're either sensible and you're frugal, or when you come into money, that sense of the rush, that, you know, not having it and then having it can send people down a very, you know, dark and dangerous and slippery road.
Yeah.
Was there no temptations of actually, do you know what, I now have money, I can spend and buy the things I want to buy?
Do you know what? Therefore, I think I more had fear.
Right.
Because you don't come from that.
I see. Okay.
There's a fear element that you don't want to lose it.
Right.
So I remember like, coming back from Australia, and then I told my DJ at the time, I think we just finished like we just finished like that's the first time like I'd been on like a proper tour.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying? Like I learned how to tour in Australia and New Zealand.
Wow.
Like, yeah, you just get flung in. Like,
What, the accents and everything?
bro,
Yeah.
you just get flung in. I learned how to tour over there.
Yeah.
And then like I remember I came back and I think I wanted to buy like a watch or something. No, I bought a G-Shock because I really liked the G-Shock. It was like a special edition one of 35.
Okay.
I think it was probably like 400. Is it Australian dollars?
Right.
I think that's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
Aussie. Yeah, 400 Australian dollars. But I think I bought that, and then I think just a bit later on I came back and I think I wanted a Cartier Santos because I think I always wanted one of those watches. Right. Like, yeah, and then I think my DJ at the time was like, bruv, nah, man. Get the Rolex too, man.
What, both?
Bruv, he said, get both of them, bruv. You need to show man what you're on.
Yeah.
Like, show the man that you're up now.
Okay.
Yeah? I said, yeah, show them what you're on.
Yeah.
And you know what, like, I remember toying with it in my mind at a stage. And then I was just like, nah, I'm not gonna do that.
Right.
You know, I just said to I was really toying with it in my mind, like, you get me? Because there's that thing that's like, you know, because he had a sub at the time, you know, and yeah, he had a black sub, and you know that was
strong.
Yeah, he was strong.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah,
he was
yeah,
feeling
of course.
himself. You know what I'm saying? When it was time to go out,
Yeah.
dress good, put on his sub,
Subs out.
I dress good, I cream my hand, you know. I'll just be creaming lotion in my hand.
Yeah. You know when the watch starts slipping off, it's too much cream.
I didn't have nothing. I was just lotion my hand. I didn't have no watch, no nothing. I mean, I'll just be doing that. It'll be putting in this
Extra shine. Yeah.
So I remember I was just thinking, yeah, maybe. And I remember when I went to Jules, I was just like, nah, let me just take that because, and you know, I just said, you know, I'll just build it up, you know, as time goes along. And yeah, I remember I was happy I made that decision because I was just like, bruv, I've got nothing to prove, innit? You know?
Yeah.
And that was the most important thing for me at that time because it's like, it's almost like you have this thing where it's like, you want to keep up appearances.
Sure.
But then it's like, you know, there's keeping up appearances and then being true to who you are.
Sure.
At the same time.
Right.
You feel me? And not saying that, you know, if I'd bought the Rolex, it wasn't true to who I was, but I just felt like, you know what? At that time, that's not what I wanted to get.
Right.
Just there and then.
Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
So, yeah. And to be honest, I wanted my dad to have a Rolex before me.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah.
So that's incredible hearing that. And I guess that sounds pretty much like delaying gratification. So you could have bought something, but you actually chose, you didn't want to, and that you'd rather your dad had a Rolex before you. That's powerful. I've never heard anyone say that.
Yeah, because that's the big man, innit? You know? Like, I just think like, yeah, bro, it's like, you know, like for me, it's like, I try to like live in a way where it's, you know, you prioritize certain things. And I haven't always got it right.
Sure.
But, you know, with something like that, I'm like, you know, that's the big man. You know? So, you know,
the priorities.
It's better to.
I respect that.
You see him shine first, then you know you can flow on and So that was important to me.
Sure.
You know, that might not be important to someone else, but hey.
No, I mean that's strong values, and I think, you know, I definitely admire that. But I know you're a very, you know, family orientated person, and family means a lot to you.
Yeah.
Sometimes family becomes complex and complicated once money gets involved.
Yeah, for sure.
So I just want to kind of understand your experience with this. So, you know, coming from the background you've described and going on to a place where you've reached tremendous success.
Yeah.
All eyes must be on you.
Yeah.
From the external world, but now internally and the family.
Yeah.
So what's that dynamic like?
It's interesting. You know what? One thing I'll give to my family, I would say, especially like my siblings and stuff, they don't really like us for much.
Right.
If you get, like, you know, that's one thing, because they know that. I think they just know that, like, I got them.
Sure.
If there's ever, you know, so they're cool. You get me? And I think mainly, do you know what's mad? I think that there's this thing where I always used to think that, you know, oh, cause I like to keep things like low, right? That like no one's not gonna know. You
Right.
know?
If I'm not flashy, no one's gonna know I've got bread.
Thinking, right, no one's not gonna
Yeah,
know.
yeah,
That.
yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
thinking, all right, cool. I'm just gonna keep this thing like, you know, low.
Right.
So in my mind,
Yeah.
like I'm thinking that everything is the same.
Right.
But you know, externally, like they're not looking at me the same way.
They're seeing
They're
different
not,
signs.
Yeah, they're not perceiving me the same way.
Right.
And you know, they're not dealing with me the same way. But because in my head, I'm one of them people. I never like. I try to never think too much of myself at a certain stage. You get me?
Sure.
Because I think that always like it just helps you to just, you know, keep your eyes just on what's important. So yeah, it's interesting because, you know, you get certain family members that will make, you know, little comments about this, that, you know, just because of that. Oh, you know, when are you gonna give me some 5,000? Yeah, I was thinking.
Is that cities or sterling?
Hey, trust me, you know. But yeah, I think like just family in general. It's an interesting balance because I would say family and friends. I
Okay.
feel like sometimes with some friends, some people could feel like entitled to stuff.
Yeah.
You know, that's probably been some of my experiences.
Is that almost the part where friends sometimes assume that they are also responsible for part of the journey because they were there?
Well, yeah, like I feel like anybody that was there or
Right.
has been a part of my journey and has helped me, you know, I've definitely tried to show them, you know, my appreciation, you know, in different ways.
Right.
So, you know, and yeah, and I think that's where that's where it does come from. And then some people, you know what it is? You know, I realize about human beings. Human beings, everyone's perception is different.
Right.
Like, because you might, and I was saying this to someone the other day, like, you might say something to someone or do something to someone and you have a certain intention.
Right.
But how they perceive it might be different
Sure.
to what your intention is.
Right.
And so even like with some people, they might indirectly think that, okay, cool, like, okay, you've got some bread now. You kind of know my situation and know what's going on. So like, bro, like break me off, you know?
Yeah.
You get me? So
Yeah, yeah.
It's that thing, but it's like, and then some people, especially with men as well,
Yeah.
some men don't know how to communicate. Like some men, like they struggle to communicate or struggle to, you know, express themselves in a way like, yo, I need this, or yo, I'm in a bit of a, you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, funny story with that money, because one of my friends, he ran into a pickle, yeah, because he's on the roads, yeah, and he got into a situation and he owed someone like 60K.
Right.
And then he rang me and he was just like, yo, yeah, oh, bruv, I got myself into a madness. I need like 60K. I was like...
Michael the bank.
I was like... I looked at my phone and I said, yo, you good, bro? I said, what's good? I said, yeah, you know what, like said the consignment or something got delayed or something got thing. So like, can you just run me like 60, and then what I'll do is I'll give it back to you I'll just give it back to you. I was like, bro. I was like, bro. I was like, my guy, you know it's love, but all the bread's just tied up. You know what I'm saying? Well, my money's tied up because, bro. But you know, and that's what I'm saying. He would never have called me for 60K before.
Sure.
But because, and that's what I'm saying, and that's that thing about perception, because now they perceive you in a certain way, and you're unaware of that. Now he feels confident enough to call you for £60,000 sterling.
Out the blue.
Out of the blue. Wow. Yo, drop everything and just wire that to me. Go into the banking app and send me 60K. You'll never see that again, bro. Hey, you will never. Worst thing you can do is borrow people money. You will never see that again.
Yeah.
Because when someone's in need, they'll give you all the stories, boy.
Yeah.
And that's happened to me a few times.
Right.
Yeah, one called me for 60, and next called me for like 50. Yeah. He said he's in some situation. He needs like 50. This and that. I'm just like, brother. But that's the thing, because do you know what it is? If I'm dealing with someone that I know has that kind of money,
Sure.
then it's fine. You know that they can run it back.
Sure.
They got this, they got that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just dealing with man that, you know, is a bit clumsy, a bit all over the place. And I've made errors like that.
Sure.
I've made errors like that. That's made me know that you don't do that.
Yeah. It's an interesting take on it, because I think, you know, people get burnt sometimes when, you know, you lend money to friends or even family, quite frankly,
100%.
and doesn't come back. But also, it's that dynamic of, you know, is there any guilt sometimes when you think, you know, I'm in a financially stable position and I know I could, but actually I'm doing this perhaps for their good by not giving them the money at such ease, because then they're going to come back next time and say, Mike, I need another 60, I need a 40, I need a 30.
Trust me, because people don't learn.
Yeah.
Do you get me? Because to go from like a place where, bro, I used to live in like minus for real.
Right.
You know, like, because that student, you know, that student finance, student overdraft.
Yeah.
The minus 1500s.
Yeah.
That my life was dominated.
You lived squarely in that 1500.
I dominated. My life was dominated by that 1500.
Wow.
That minus. So when I had money, my money was in the minus.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Sure.
It always started with minus.
Sure.
Do you get me?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
like and I remember one time, bro, that 1500 was depleted. It was done. And I was just like, I remember lying on my bed thinking, damn, what the heck am I gonna do? Yeah, but anyway, living in minus like that, yeah, and coming from that, I had to learn, work, hustle, have faith, you pray, you do this, you do that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, bro, like if you are consistently bailing out people or consistently being there, almost insurance, they're never gonna learn for themselves.
No.
Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
They're never gonna learn for themselves.
Yeah.
And so I just think it's important that everyone learns for themselves, because it's very easy to receive.
Yeah.
Easy to receive, but then, like, you know, I see it even with family members sometimes. You can consistently give them stuff when they need help, but then it's like you want more, but you don't know how to manage what you have.
Sure. Yeah.
You get me?
Yeah, absolutely.
And that's one thing that I'm very grateful for now, is that you learning to manage what you have, because it's not. I think everybody wants mad bread, like you know, everybody wants money. Oh yeah, I need this, I need that. But bro, it's like most important thing I learned is you need to know how to manage.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying? If you don't know how to manage 1,000, you can't manage 10.
Yeah, do you know what? That's exactly what I was going to say. I think sometimes people think that the solution to bad money management is having more money.
It's not.
It's not. It only exaggerates the situation.
You're gonna go back
exactly
into the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, and there are a lot of people who are out there saying, as soon as I get a better paying job, as soon as I earn more money, that's fine. I'll then start saving money. I'll then start be able to make better moves. It doesn't change.
It will never change.
It's about the principles that you apply from the start.
It will never ever change.
Yeah. So looking at your career, if you hadn't pursued comedy and entertainment, what do you think you'd be doing today?
I think about that sometimes, you know. Yeah, I think about that sometimes. I think, and I used to sit there. I think when I was around like some of the label guys a lot, yeah. I used to think, maybe if everything went left, I could work at a label.
Oh really?
Yeah, I said maybe. Like,
maybe.
You know what I'm saying? I just think maybe if everything went left, I could work at a label, or like, I'll probably be like producing or something.
Okay.
Yeah, producing.
Still creative, or in that
I'll
space.
still probably be creative, because I think some of that label stuff is jarring, man. You know what I'm saying? But I'll probably do what Rashid and that does, isn't it?
Okay, big up Rashid. Yeah. Okay, so listening to some of your previous interviews, you know, you talk about, you know, your upbringing, your dad, and how, you know, intent they were on you getting a good education. Yeah. But then, you know, you knew you were sometimes the class clown, and you know, you like to have a joke around, etc.
Yeah.
How did you ultimately navigate that in terms of satisfying their needs for you to be educated, but you keeping that spirit in you alive for what you truly believed in?
Bro, that's that, yeah. even though I was funny in class, and I just think I was still clever.
Okay. Sure.
You know what I'm saying? That's foundational. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't dumb.
No.
You know, man's not dumb, bro.
Man's not dumb.
Like, he's not dumb.
Absolutely.
Man's not dumb. But anyway, yeah, I was still clever.
Yeah.
Like, so that's like I would still get my work done and
Sure.
stuff. But satisfying them, you know what? I think like for my pops, going to university for him was everything.
Right.
You know, even my mum, I would reckon that, you know, they're just big on making sure you get yourself a degree.
Right.
And that they always looked at it as like, you know, that's your foundation. But I knew in my mind, I used to always say to him, I'm never going to use this.
Right.
Right? And then my mum would always be like, oh, but you never know when this would come and people are going to perceive you differently because you have this and this and that. But, you know, like, I'm a firm believer that, like, your gifts will make a way for you.
Right.
You get me? Like, whatever it is that you're genuinely good at, right, is going to, you know, make a way for you. Because I've seen, like, people that, like, they cut grass and they're extremely successful, right? Or they just sell stuff and, you know, it's just different. You can just find whatever it is that you do, you know what I'm saying? I've seen cameramen that do really well, you know, that even like Luke Biggins, may he rest in peace, amazing camera guy, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, amazing guy. And, you know, he was successful in his own right. So, like, I knew that from very early on that, you know, like, you know, your gifts will make room for you. But because that was what was important to them, I was just like, bruv, you know what? Certain times, you see with like, even if you think you know stuff, with parents, they've seen life more than you, right? So I'm just like, cool, let's go and just get this thing done. Yeah. And I didn't really like it, if I was honest with you, at certain stages, because I was just thinking, bruv, the course was just long at certain stages, but like, I'm happy that I finished it. I wasn't happy with the student finance. Yeah, because you had to pay that off, innit? But
it's not free, man. It's not free, Mike.
I wasn't happy with that.
It's not free.
I used to think, bruv, like, when that student loan used to come, hey, yeah, trust me.
The more you start earning, the bigger it starts deducting.
Me. I had to pay that off.
Yeah.
I had to pay it off.
Yeah.
In full.
Yeah.
So but anyway, so I understood, you know what? Right. I had to find, there was this medium of making sure you got the degree because they were huge on that. And you know, at the same time, like I said, when you live with your folks, it's about making sure that they're happy. Sure. You know, because sometimes certain things it's not always gonna go your way. So I was like, cool, let's get this out of the way. But I know what I want to do.
Fine.
So I just got that out of the way. Yeah. And then it came to a point where you have to show and prove. You know, and that's what I always tell people, like, you know, when I meet like other people and sometimes people that's like younger than me and they're always like they get into this crossroad section, or, you know, people that's like could be similar age and they're in this crossroad section and they're just thinking, oh, what do I do? I'm just like, bro, you have to show and prove. That's the only way. Right. Because if not, like, your folks and, you know, people that's older than you and et cetera, they can only go by what they know. You get me? And sometimes they don't understand this new generation and era that we're in where, you know, you can make money from the internet. You can do all of these. They don't get it.
Sounds risky.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound like it's secure.
No.
So it's like, you have to go and show and prove.
Right.
It's the only way.
Yeah.
And so that's what I had to do. I just knew in my head that I had to show and prove that whatever it is that I want to do is going to work. And it's going to, you know,
take you where it needs to.
Exactly.
Yeah. And why do you think comedy was your form of expression?
I think, like, do you know what it is? It's just, I just like the arts in general, bro.
Okay.
You know, I think, like, those things just come very naturally to me.
Yeah.
You know, the arts just come very, very naturally to me.
Right.
You know, just 360. So, comedy, just from being able to be funny, or that, it's just natural. But I like entertainment as a whole. Right. You feel me? I enjoy it as a whole.
Right. For me, I think personally, it's such a God-given gift to be able to make people smile.
Yeah, definitely.
And, you know, when I watch some of your characters that you play, honestly, sometimes I'm just sat, maybe because I'm a banker and I'm boring, but I watch the characters and how you switch from, you know, somewhere in London, and I'm thinking someone like Patrick. Yeah. I believe there is a Patrick out there.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean?
100%.
I 100%, you know, I was saying to someone earlier, I've had a few parking tickets this week, and I believe someone like a Patrick was responsible.
They're about, you know.
Do you know what I mean?
They're really about.
Or you've got Dr. Ofori. I believe there's a Dr. Ofori out there. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like for me, it's such a... How does that make you feel when you know that, you know, you had that sort of impact on people?
Do you know what? Like, I think, like, it's weird because I think, well, when you meet, like, did you know it's very interesting because different, when it comes to that world, like, with you know, playing those characters, yeah, you'll be so, I'm always very surprised as to, you know, what demographic of people navigate to, you know, what they get to. Yeah. And I'm always very surprised, like, you know, because I meet different people like all the time, you know, and you know, if they're fans of that show or whatever, then they'll just come and it's like, yo, I really like this and I really like that, and sometimes I just sit down just thinking, right, like, you watch that, you know what I'm saying? You're into that, you know. And I just think, I'm overall I'm grateful. Don't ever get it twisted. I'm very grateful, but I just think like, I think sometimes it's like, it's very like, I wouldn't say surprising. Yeah, probably surprising when I see who tunes into it and how different people are affected by it, and you know, it's I think what I appreciate the most for me from a show like that is, I remember, I think, where were we? We were at like Giggs's Christmas party one time, and then I think Pound Sterling came to me and he was just like, yo, hey, when's this landing? When's the show landing again? He said, bro, I watched that with my boys. Like, we watch it as a family. And, you know, I think like, even when I talked to some like, when I was initially coming up, and you know, a lot of them, my supporters and stuff, they would message me and tell me, yo, we watched this whole show with the family, etc., etc. That stuff there, like, that's what moves me, because I just think like, it's lovely to be able to like create something and that people can just enjoy it with their families, because I just feel like now we just live at a time where everyone's just kind of segregated. You know what I'm saying? They're just on their phones. Like, mum will be there on their phone, son will be there, daughter will be there, dad will be somewhere else, this person will be like, you know what I'm saying? But to be able to create things that people can watch together.
Just picking up on one of your characters, I watched one of your skits on Big Shaq when he turns down a label deal for 20K. Yeah. And he says, I want $1 million. Yeah. And they were like, no, so he walks out. Yeah. What were those real life negotiations like once you had your big moment?
At that time, I actually did get offered 20K. Really? And I actually did turn it down. Yeah, because I was just like, do you know what it is? I just like use everything that I know from growing up, right? You know, it's like, cool. I just sat there. I think when I went to I remember when I went for my first label meeting, I went in there by myself. Right. I didn't go with nobody.
Was that intentional?
Nah. Okay. It was just like, see me, like, I'm raw, like, just in terms of, like, you know, just a hustler. I don't know, what can you say, raw? Without saying pause or what? You know?
Any pauses in the room? No.
Pause. But anyway, like, I'm just like, yeah, at the time I was just cool, you know, because I already know, like, I knew some of the guys from the labels and stuff already. Right. So we already had like a relationship. So when some of them called me in, and, you know, they said, yo, so I just went there by myself, and I'm just like, yo, what we saying? And, you know, they gave me, like, you know, offer for this and that. I was like, nah. You know what I'm saying? I was like, nah. I'll go to the next place and, you know, I'll say, yeah, this person offered me like, this person offered me like 40. What you saying? Do you get me? So I would just be playing them against each other, like, by myself. And I did like a first round of meetings by myself. Right. And I was just like, because I was just thinking, if you guys are competitors, you might not speak to each other. Sure. But you may speak to each other. But it doesn't matter. You rise up the figure by yourself.
Rarely do they speak to each other about the same deal.
Do you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I was just like, cool. You know, and when I go into meetings, I'll say, yeah. I just came from there. Right. And these lot, even if they gave me 20, I'll say they gave me 40. Yeah. So what are you saying? Yeah. Absolutely. That's how I would play it until eventually, like, I went in there with I went in there with management, and then
Right.
obviously everything changed. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was that. That's definitely real life, real life scenarios for sure.
Yeah.
And yeah, just navigating it, just kind of using common sense.
Sure.
I think. But remember, these labels are also very clever. They know that a lot of people that come to them don't come from affluence.
Right.
And that's why I tell like some of like my younger bros and stuff, like I said, tell them like, bro, they know where we come from, right? And so when you're going in there, like they already know that you don't come from money. So if you act like you need their money,
Right.
they're gonna know
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you need their money. And remember, like when you start understanding the business of how, the labels and system work and that,
Yeah.
then you start knowing, okay, cool, maybe this isn't good, this isn't good.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
because sometimes people just want the biggest check. Of
course.
Right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
can go with jewelers and go and buy a big Cuban
Yeah.
and a big watch. But yeah.
On the subject of business, at what point for you do you think you made that transition from entertainment,
Yeah.
arts, creativity to business? At what point did you think you started seeing those two things separately, or did you always consider what you were doing as a business?
When I had to pay tax.
Okay.
When I had to pay tax, it got real.
Yeah. When the tax man came knocking.
Yeah. When I
Right.
had to pay tax, do you know what it is? Because I think, no, it's not even that. I think when I had to get an accountant,
Yeah.
that was first, and I was just thinking, nah, bruv, this is long, man.
Right.
Do you get what I'm saying? When I had to get an accountant, I thought, oh, this is long. Then after the accountant, then you had to go and pay HMRC. That's when it was.
That's when it got real.
Yeah. That's when it was just like, okay, cool. This stuff is real, and so I realized that you're not just a talent, or you have to be a businessman,
Right.
and you have to also be a leader.
Yeah.
Depending on like the position that you're at, because obviously you have a team of people as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I had to pay tax and I got my first tax bill.
Yeah. That's when it got real.
Thanks.
That's when you became a businessman.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah.
Well, look, in the Money Ladder book, I talk about facing your failures. One of the characters in here, he basically has a quote that says, "Failing fast gives you more time to find out what you're actually good at." So, in your journey, what sort of mistakes do you think you've made, and how have you overcome those challenges?
I've made some mistakes, but I think one of the ones I would say that I was actually thinking about it today. I think I over leveraged myself when it came to the crypto market.
Okay,
100%.
interesting.
Yeah,
Let's talk about that, because
yeah, definitely.
a lot of people talk about mainstream assets. That's a safe bet, particularly coming from an African household. I mean, buy a house, save money, etc. Crypto is relatively new. So, what was your entry point into that?
Do you know what it is? It was just, I think, like at the time, I'd always been hearing about it.
Right.
It's been ringing off for a little bit, but then there was a period where it was just like, yo, yeah, no, man, I got to invest in these coins, man. Yo, hey, the coins, the altcoins, this coins, hey, the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, this one. Hey, there was a period when it was just like, yo. And you see me, like, I wasn't paying attention to it for a little bit. And I think one of my younger cousins, he was doing really well from it, right? And he was doing really well, and I see him, he changed his car, he was this and that. And man, I like seeing people winning.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, bro, what you doing at the moment? He said, yeah, no members in the crypto, like, the altcoins, this and that. I was like, all right, cool. And then obviously, like, naturally, I met, other people that were, in that world, and they're way more experienced than he was, etc., etc. So I was just like, all right. And you know what it was? I think at the time, when you just have money sitting there and you haven't like invested it, or you haven't done anything.
Yeah.
Naturally, I know that just from growing up, just reading books and stuff, it's about making your money work for you, right? So literally, I just said, okay, cool. I'm gonna take some money. I'm gonna put it in this. And then obviously it's like, oh no, there's a new one now. And then you're gonna put it in that.
Right.
And then, oh, this is really dropped down, then you're gonna put it in that. Then, oh, hey, there's this, then you're gonna put it in that. Right. And then it's like, hey, there's that, then you're gonna put it in that.
So you fell down the rabbit hole.
Hey,
and
then
just
it's
kept
like,
going.
hey, this one is dropped mad, and there's gonna be, then you're gonna put it in that. And then there's then there's some stocks and shares as well. You know, there you go and put it in. And you know what? Like, some things did well, but then I think nobody expected this bear market. I guess, but you know, some people did because they did speak about it. But it was about when it was gonna come.
Sure.
You never actually knew.
Yeah.
And so you know, it's like some of the money that you put in there just. You know, it's still there, but it's just like something that was like £3, like 40p. Like it's crazy. But I think I over leveraged myself because there was a financial principle that I learned from reading Robert Kiyosaki's book.
Okay.
And he was talking about never putting more than 20% of your overall portfolio or whatever your overall wealth into something.
Right.
And it wasn't even like it was 20%, but it's like when you're not that it was more than that I was put, because obviously it's just liquid cash. Do you get what I'm saying? So you're just thinking, all right, you put this in, you pull it out at a certain time, put this in, you pull it out at a certain time. And so that's one of the things that I was actually thinking about today, that obviously knowing what I know now, I probably wouldn't have over leveraged myself in certain things there, because that crypto really went dipto.
It taught you a lesson.
Hey,
Yeah.
it went dipto.
Yes, I can see you felt that. You're still feeling it.
No, do you know what it is? Yeah, but bro, naturally, if everyone says, "Oh right, you're gonna feel it," because you could have. There's other things you could have done.
Yeah, of course.
But then I guess a lot comes with time. So me, I'm not someone that really dwells on that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm just like, all right, cool. This didn't go how anticipated, and that's what I'm saying. As with everything, the world and the economy goes like this.
Yeah.
So it has ups and downs. Right. So I think another thing that I learned just with investing is a lot of times when you invest in stuff, you're always looking at the best case scenarios, right? Yeah. You're not really looking at, okay, what if it goes left? Yeah. And I think that's another thing, and it's about making sure that you analyze all of those things. And
it's a risk assessment, right?
100%.
And you'll be pleased to know that in the book, I talk extensively about that.
Yes.
Helping people to understand how to risk assess. What's your tolerance for risk?
Yeah.
If this doesn't go the way you plan, are you okay? Can you afford to lose this money you're about to put into this crypto dipto? Yeah. If not, then perhaps you need to rethink where that money is going.
100%.
Yeah. But it's a learning curve, right? And it's about that foundation of understanding. If somebody has sat you down and told you about the risk and the potential, then you might have maybe second guessed when everyone was saying, hey, jump into this. But like they say of investments, it's not a loss until you sell. Yeah. So who knows? Who knows what may come of those investments
100%.
in the future.
So that's why I'm just like, you're not really like, I'm not really, let's say, like stressing like that. It's just kind of like, cool. And I feel like I needed to learn that. Right. Because sometimes you won't learn certain things if you don't actually go through them yourself. Yeah. You feel me? And I looked at all of these other factors. I just thought, it made me look at my accountants a little bit different. Okay. It made me look at, okay, cool, just like financial advice, all these different little things. I'm just thinking, cool. Because really and truly, if, you're something like having a good accountant, good lawyers, good all of that, they're so important. But you have a good accountant that will tell you, nah, maybe don't do that. Right. Or maybe only put in X amount. Right. Or maybe just do this. And I think like I said, that experience has taught me so much, because I'm the kind of person that I'd rather lose like 100 grand than in terms of like make a mistake with 100,000 than to make a mistake with 1 million. Sure. Or make a mistake with 3,000 rather than 30,000. Sure. You get me? Because in life you're gonna make errors. Of course. Natural. But that's how I look at things. I was like, cool, I'd rather get burnt now than burnt later down the line when you're making a whole lot more. Sure. When you have more at stake. Because when you got like kids or wife and family and that, brother, he's just gonna tell you, you know what I'm saying? I just lost I just lost 300. What?
Yeah.
They're gonna look at you
But you know
different.
what? You hear some of those stories, some of these investment schemes that are coming online, and there was one recently in the US with, a DJ, and you must have heard about
DJ
that.
Envy.
And when you hear the stories of
yeah.
how much people were putting in, and that was their life savings, and they remortgaged their homes and they stuck it in. So people unfortunately do come across those scenarios.
Yeah.
Right? And sometimes you
100%.
do have to question, the thing about investing is everyone invests hoping for the upside.
100%.
And when that is appealing enough, people are willing to bet big.
100%.
And so it's about understanding who you are as an investor,
Mm-hmm.
because that's very important. But talking about the importance of having a good accountant and a team around you, that's something that I talk on in the book as well. Where one of the characters, she goes to her parents to basically get some guidance, and they say, look, build a team, build your own little
100%.
squad of people, experts. There's a part of us that think we should be able to do everything by ourselves.
100. Yeah.
And I think that's just such a terrible idea that. Just think about it. When you're ill, who do you look to for help?
Doctor.
Right. So when you're talking about finance and making money decisions, why would we assume we should only look to ourselves?
I just think I think it's a balance of things, I think sometimes it's like ego.
Right.
There's ego that plays in it. Like, there's this thing like, yo, I did it by myself.
Right.
It's me.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, some people they're not asking, or they don't. Some people don't want to look like they don't know stuff.
Right.
You get me? So
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
think it's a combination of things. Like,
Yeah.
me, I don't care, bro. I was asked, like, when I was doing something, I'll just call you and say, yo, bro.
Yeah.
Yo, what's
And we talk.
Yeah, we talk.
Absolutely.
Like I just say, yo, what's this?
Yeah.
What's that?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I don't care. Like, I don't.
Yeah.
Because bro, you see, it's about winning. Of
course.
At the end of the day,
Yeah,
you get me.
yeah.
However you get to whatever it is that you're trying to do, it's about winning. And if I don't know something, I'll ask. Like, even when I was coming up, if I don't know something, I might ask Rashid.
Yeah.
I might ask this person. I might just say, yo, this is this? How does this work? How does that work?
Yeah.
But I guess, like, I think that's where it comes from. And, sometimes I feel, it can happen to anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can happen to anybody. Because, I even think, like, let's say when it comes to work, sometimes writing, I'm just like, no, I got this, I'll do this.
Right.
But then, when you have so much other things going on, it might be better for you to just alleviate some of that pressure from yourself and just get a partner.
Yeah.
You might end up having to split money or split royalties and stuff, but you're going to end up getting more done.
Sure.
And that's, essentially it's just about getting it over the line. Of course. So you learn that, but I know that's where it comes from.
Yeah. So that's, I guess the experience of, maybe bad decisions or not so good decisions. What would you say in your career so far has been your best financial decision?
That's a very good question. Best financial decision. I've had a few. I think with property, you never go wrong. Because of I think like you never go wrong because because like let's say like when I bought my place and they did, I think I was just sitting there doing that. They was doing like a, one of these portfolio things or whatever. And then they said, oh, it's gone up by X amount within like a year.
Right.
And I was just like, oh, is it?
Yeah.
But
so your valuation is what you said.
Yeah, but it wasn't even like a valuation. It was just kind of like, they were just kind of doing like a, like they're just kind of reviewing like your assets.
Okay.
And they're looking at like, okay, cool,
Sure.
you put this down in like a pension scheme or whatever, or et cetera, et cetera.
Right.
And then they were just like, oh, it's gone up by X amount. So I'm just like, okay, cool. That's when I saw, okay, cool. That like, putting your money down and that. Because now I see people say, oh, don't buy a house. Don't do this. I'm seeing all these different things. But you know what it is? I just think it's like, bro, do what works for you.
Yeah.
Do you get what I'm saying? Just do what works for you. Because one of my friends, he hasn't got a house here, but he's got investments back home.
Things. Sure.
Do you get me? And so it's like, that's what works for him.
Yeah.
So I think definitely property stuff has been good. Investing in that.
But what about even some of the deals you've negotiated? Because I know when we've spoken in the past, you've talked to me about turning down big number deals because it didn't feel right, and actually it led to you taking a slightly smaller deal, and that's had a lot more benefit.
100%.
So that in itself can be a good financial decision too.
Yeah, 1 million. Yeah, 100, because I'm just about being authentic.
Right.
You get me?
Yeah.
Just being like myself.
Sure.
You get me? And I just feel like that has always kept me. So when when like people have come with, or companies or whatever have come with like big offers, just waving these checks and stuff, I'm just like, nah, you know, because for me it's not integral to who I am. Right? Now, like I said, do what makes you happy. Right? But I'm just talking for me. For me, it's not about the money, because I just feel as if you're just good at whatever you do, the money's always gonna come. So yeah, definitely that, you know, taking the right offers and doing what's integral to you. You know, I've had situations where like, you know, just brands, you know, I remember like, it's crazy because sometimes I'm always thinking about the independent stuff I've done, but those things are so important because I think like, and you always face it now, you know. I remember like one of these big drinks brands even, they came with an offer for like a campaign and stuff, and I was like to them, I think when we were going through the creative, I was just like, most important thing is just me having the creative freedom to do what it is that I do, and it has to be like this, and we want it like this, and that. They came back with a rebuttal and they said, oh no, but can you do it like this and can you do it like that? And I said, that's not what we agreed. If you want this to work, I know what works, right? As you can see, I've got a track record, right? So I know what works and what works with the audience and what connects well. So it's got to be like this. Came back again. Oh, no. I was just like, I'm out. I'm out. And I remember I saw, she's like a friend of a friend. When I was an IB fan, she was like, oh, they was all talking about you in the office that you turned down all this money and blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, I'm not like a money whore, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like, yo, come away with it. I'm just gonna dance for you. You know the ones like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, I'm just like, no. Like, I told you that this is how I work. If you're not gonna respect my creativity and how we're gonna do this, then I'm not in. You get me? Same company came back 18 months later. They tripled the money. And they let us do everything, top to bottom. One of their most successful campaigns. They ran that for 3 years. And it falls down to like just knowing who you are and just being about your business. I'm not about that. If we're not gonna do it, and I've had loads of instances where brand that I don't really wear is offering me like, you know, like life-changing money. Do you get what I'm saying? It's like house money. And I was just like, and then the brand that I really do wear, they're offering like the tiniest fraction. And then it's that decision again. And there's like, oh, no, it doesn't matter if you wore this, and that before. This one's only for 1 year. You know, you can just do. And, you know, in comparison, if you're talking like, you know, this is like, bro, this is probably like 0.5%
of it,
of what, you know, this brand's offering. So if you know, brand's offering like 800, this brand's maybe offering like 30 or, you get what I'm saying? For example, just so figures, right? And so I'm just like, bruv, like, and I know what my management at the time would have wanted me to go with. But it was just like, oh, but it's up to you. What do you want to do? And I'm just like, I'm gonna go with this one, the 30. And that decision, in the long run, ended up paying off so much dividend, right? Because it ended up being like a 5-year relationship. And this one would have been a 1-year relationship. And I probably ended up making double the money or triple the money that I would have ended up making up just taking that. You see it? So it's like, I always like, and I think those things, like it just falls down to like your integrity as a person, you know, who you are. Because sometimes, like I know life is hard. You know, opportunities come, and you just think, bruv, let me just, you know what I'm saying? Let me just take this because we need it right now. Even when I didn't have anything, I remember like, I remember the man offered me like £100 to be in like, oh, can you put this character in this video? And like, you know, we've got like £150 and then, brother, I needed that 150 at that time, bro. But I remember I listening to the song and I was just like, nah, listening to the lyrics of the song and I'm just like, nah, man, this don't align. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't align. And so I was just like,
so you have to know when to say no.
100%.
Know your
you have to know when to say no. But remember, like, it falls down to knowing who you are and what you stand for. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of people just stand for the bag.
Yeah, of course.
You get me?
Yeah.
And like I said, bro, if that's you, then
sure.
that's you. Do you get me? But I'm playing the long game.
Yeah.
You know, you know, it's not about, you know, having affluence when you're young and then by the time you hit, you know, like 40, 50, because bro, we're all growing up. You're not gonna stay young forever.
No,
you know the ones
course.
like it's not about, you know, you set things up. So it's not like, oh, when you're 40, 50, 60, whatever it is, like, bro, like you don't have anything. You know, it's about we're just
longevity.
100%.
So just to sort of, I mean, look, we could have this conversation forever and I'm enjoying it so much, but just to try and bring it to a close.
Yeah.
What would you say is the Michael Dapaah legacy? What would you like that to be?
A legacy, the Michael Dapaah legacy, that's a really good question. I think for me, like, you know, when you say legacy, you're talking legacy in terms of wealth or legacy 360?
360.
Personal love, you know, love foundationally that likes to give and likes to help his people. Loves God, loves entertainment, and, you know, just made some really good investments and left a lot for people.
Okay.
Because, bro, I was at a funeral. I told you, I was at a funeral 2 days ago. Yeah. And, you know, my friend's missus, she passed, she's 34 years old.
Wow.
Right? And when I was just standing there, I was just looking, I was just thinking, now, you know, like, usually, like, I've been to, you know, we've all been to funerals, right? But then, you know, this time, I don't know, I'm just sitting there, I'm just like, yo, like, everything that you think you're working for and you think you're about and you think is this and you think is that and blah, 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 blah. When it's all said and done, we're all going in the dust. Yeah. Like her. And it was so sad because, like I said, she died from something like lupus. Wow. You know, rest in peace, Courtney. But it just made me realize that, yo, like, what the most important thing is, like, what I leave here. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, what, like, even, like, you know, this stuff here. Being able to make time for you, just like you make time for me, you know? Like, absolutely. That's what's important to me. You get me? Like, all the rest of it, bro, because it doesn't matter. They can't put me, they're not going to put me in the grave with 10 watches on my wrist and £1 million in the coffin and I'm lying there like that, planking. They're not going to do that.
Someone will dig it up.
Bro, don't dig it up. They're not going to put me there like, I'm going to be like that. Brother, like, when it's all said and done, when it's all said and done, it's about what I leave here. Yeah. And so that's those are the things that's important to me, like how I impact humanity, you know, in a positive way and in the right way. And that's what's important because, bro, like, you know, money's great, but money moves earth. Yeah. That's it. It's not going to the other realms. It's done. Money move earth.
Do you know what? I think on that profound note, I'm just so grateful we had the opportunity to sit down and have this conversation.
Thank you, man.
I love your work ethic. I love what you're achieving. I love how you're developing as a person. And I'm always here to help and support. And you're doing so much good for the world. So
thank you.
Listen, thank you very much for everything you do.
And Franklin's the truth.
He's
the actual truth. Like, he's not like someone that just sitting down with nice linen trousers and a nice shirt. He's actually the truth. You know, he's like who he says he is, what he says he is. You know, he's helped me with some stuff, and you know, he's genuinely like he's a friend, brother, mentor. You know, in different areas, and there's not just myself. There's other people that you're helping. So, you know, it's an honor and a pleasure.
Pleasure
to be here.
Pleasure's all mine. Ladies and gentlemen, Michael Dapaah, come on. Thank you, my bro.
My bro, love that. Love.